in the session. So please, guys, whatever you do, if your video is on, make sure you are dressed. Make sure you are not doing funny things there, because I'm recording the session and then later I'm going to share it with people that could not attend and with you guys if you want to go back. So how does this session come about? We've been having workshop on vision. Vision meaning the importance of having a vision for your life, and teaching also on how to craft a vision board for your life, because there's a verse in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, where God is saying to Abraham, come outside, come and see as far as your eyes can see, so shall this land be yours. So he had to see the land in every direction, south, north, east, and west, so whatever how far you see is what you shall possess. And the Bible also tells us in the book of Habakkuk to say, write the vision down so that whoever sees it can run with it. So we've been going through those stages of writing the vision down, teaching these young girls that we are with and anybody else that has been joining us how to draw the vision. What are the critical elements that you need to be adding to your vision board? So there was pillars that we spoke of. One was personal development. We dealt with it in last month's session. And now we are dealing with health and wellness. And then there is also, family relationships, and there's also wealth goals. Because many times we find when we talk of vision, people think only, I want to be a doctor, I want to drive a Porsche Cayenne. It's tangible things, but we forget that the health and wellness, especially mental health, is very, very important, and the mindset that you carry is very, very important. So it's something that we felt it's important to deal with. So in our midst, I've invited there's three speakers that will talk to us. Number one, we've got Khomotsagang. Hi, I see she's already there. And Raleme Pula Moroeng, she's already here. And then we've got Meme, who's been presenting on our behalf earlier. So this is it, guys. We said on the flyer that we are going to be talking all things health and mental healthness. And this month, being May, is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we saw it fit to talk to especially mental health. So Mepula, she's a clinical psychologist. She'll be able to educate us more, because there's a stigma around mental health. If somebody says I'm depressed, in our Black communities especially, we just take the person as crazy. We just think, oh my God, when we cast them out, and people now end up not speaking out, especially even young children. Then they end up committing suicide because there's no one who's willing to listen. There's people are judging them, and some in their careers it's affecting them. You don't thrive where God has placed you. You don't thrive in your career because of your mental state. Your mental health is not okay, or you have a negative outlook on life. That's why I invited Khomotsagang. She's the most positive person I've ever met. So yeah, that's it. That's the background. I don't know if there's any questions where background is concerned. None. Going once, twice, thrice, no questions. Okay. Logistics, this is how we're gonna run the session. After every speaker, you're welcome to ask questions, but they will answer at the end for the sake of time. And can I ask that we remain, our mics must be muted so that there's no background noise. If somebody's presenting, let it be only that person whose mic is on and their video switched on, and then we can switch off our mics, yes, for the sake of a noise. And there's a chat box. You're welcome to ask your question on the chat box. I will be noting them down as we go, so that we give the speakers an opportunity to answer them at the end of the session. We are multilingual. There's different people. Some speak Soto, Swana, Zulu, Xhosa. So not all of us are conversant in those languages. So we speak in English, but obviously, you know, where we need to translate or mix it up, yes, we are Mzansi for sure. Please feel free. If you didn't get something, raise it. If we are too fast, raise it, and we'll take it from there. Any questions on the logistics wise? We plan to finish the session not later than 5. So each speaker has time to do what they need to do, and we will allow questions. So we don't have many things today. Okay. Can I go to the first speaker? I'm going to start with Khomotsagang. Khomotsagang. Oh God. Now it's Bitumelo.
Okay. I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
She's on her camera.
On her camera, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know why it's showing you, not her.
She will. Isn't I have she will switch on now.
No, I see her. She's there in the corner. It's this thing. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, guys, I'm going to get Khomotsagang on. Yeah, there she is. This is Khomotsagang's mother. As a way of introduction, I think if you saw the flyer, it said Positive Vibes by Khomotsagang, right? Why I asked Khomotsagang to join us is that I've known her mom from a long time ago. We used to work together. And as a result, I met Khomotsagang as a very young girl who used to love brandy. Does she still love brandy?
She likes that.
Yeah, we used to love brandy. She would sing, you know, for us as a young girl. And I remember even when I told Kumo that I invited Khomotsagang, she was saying, which one? The one who was singing brandy at a birthday party many years ago. So Khomotsagang is affectionately known as Khomo. It's a Tswana name which translates to comforter. And she's a young girl who was born 16 August 2002. She was born 25 weeks premature and diagnosed with cerebral palsy immediately after birth. The mom will explain. So due to this disorder, Khomotsagang gets around by crawling or with an aid of a walker or wheelchair. She's passionate and articulate advocate on CP awareness and believe that anybody wants to know how CP affects them, talk to them, feel free to get to know them and gain insight onto how the disability affects them. She has a foundation after her name, which is called Homo Art Foundation, which exists people from all walks of life on Facebook. Como, please just mute your mic for now. Now, why I invited her? We are talking health, and so many of us, we take our health for granted. We are well, we don't have any disability, we don't have anything, but we are so negative about life. We think if we don't reach something, it's the end of it. But there's this young girl from her birth, she could not walk. She's being helped by a wheelchair, but her mindset is on another level. So Khale, as the mom, will help us to facilitate the conversation. Khale, over to you. Just tell us, how does Khomotsagang get to be so positive? And she must tell us how come she's okay, you know, and she's on a wheelchair, but she's not killing herself. She's like, what is the difference? What's going on in her mind? Because some of us, we don't have bread tonight, we already want to commit suicide. We are sick with COVID, we are already saying, God, just take my life. So what
Yeah.
happens in her mind?
Okay. So thanks, Pauline. You tell me. I think she's now on. Her video is on. So to everybody, I'm not with Homzang. I had some commute. Yeah. So Homo is at home while mommy's doing the errands. So Homo, maybe for now, just mute until, let me introduce you, then you will unmute yourself, right? Okay, so hi everybody. I'm not Homo Zahang, I'm Homo Zahang's mom, but unfortunately I couldn't be with her because I had some commitments. So Pauline, to your organization, thanks for inviting us on behalf of Homo as well as Homo Foundation. So this invite, I don't think it's a mistake, right? To everybody, mainly because Homo Zahang as well is suffering from mental illness. So she will narrate the story to say how so. So I'm not going to take much from Homo Zahang. All I'm going to do, because now she's ready, she's prepared, I'm going to give her an opportunity to share with you, introducing herself and sharing with you her life in a nutshell. So I'm going to be facilitating the session because, as you know, Homo Zahang has lots and lots of energy. Otherwise, we are going to finish at 9 and we don't want that. Hence, I'm going to be facilitating. So I'll hand over to you, Homo. Remember, if I'm talking, you mute. If you are talking, I'll mute, okay? So Homo, just introduce yourself and give an overview of your challenges or who you are.
So, hi everyone, I'm Homo. I'm an 18-year-old, and I was probably born with this disability called cerebral palsy. You want to know the difference of the illness? So, you're wondering what cerebral palsy is, right? For a fact, it's an illness that the brain gets fully, fully damaged. For my example, I wasn't aware that I was born with cerebral palsy only a year later. I wasn't aware that I was born with it until now, until this 18-year-old that's bubbly sometimes in her state to help. Like, it's hard at times being cerebral palsy. It's bringing frustration, anger, and everything else as a nutshell. So I would love to get to know, or I get to experience how I feel. It's upsetting. It brings anger. And sometimes my emotions are really deeper to myself. So I want to share this with the rest of. I sing,
Yeah.
dance, or I listen to music for an example.
Okay, Homo, tell the rest of the team what is cerebral palsy. I think they would like to know.
So you're wondering what cerebral palsy is as a survivor like myself. It's an illness. It affects 100% of the brain, or the brain is fully damaged. So it's fully damaged. It goes by a birth. It goes with. It's like a birth defect, and it's an illness that affects the whole brain. Is becoming damaged. Your movements become slow, or you struggle with everything else. Like for my example, I also discovered this disability since I was a baby. I've had it for many years until today. I have this disability it's affecting my life till today as an 18-year-old.
Okay, so give mommy a chance. Just mute it a little bit. Are you muted, Mama? Okay, good. So maybe you are wondering what is cerebral palsy. So in a nutshell, Homo was born 25 weeks premature. So you can imagine most of her organs were underdeveloped. So from there, she also had complications with the accumulation of water in her brain, which suppressed as well the growth of her brain. So she's got tubes that drains her water from the brain to the bladder. So by that, she also have challenges with storing her urine for long. So she will also explain to you what happens when we go to the malls, and when we get to the malls, people are parked at the special needs people. So Homo suffers a couple of things. So she's physically disabled, mentally. So as she already alluded, she's 18. However, in terms of maturity, cognizance, she's rated a 9-year-old. So over and above that, you also have bladder issues. So I'll hand over to her just to explain further. I'll ask her questions. So Homo, tell everybody your hobbies.
So my hobbies for the day are singing, dancing, and exercising, because exercising is the best thing for me to do as an 18-year-old. And my hobbies are, like, for an example, yes, I have said my hobbies.
Who's your favorite artist?
My favorite artists are Shoma Josie, Makati, Sis Those are my favorite female artists.
So Auntie Pauline touched on, remember there was a time where you used to enjoy Brandy.
Yep, Brandy. Yep.
Okay, so Homo, where do you draw strength?
I draw strength from my mom. First of all, let's start with her. So mommy draws me strength, daddy draws me strength, and Ntakos draws me strength, as well as my sister. She's standing right next to me, but I draw strength from family and friends.
And how does that make you feel?
Happy, proud, and appreciative.
Okay. So tell us about a sad day or a sad moment that you had to overcome.
Sad moment I've overcome was the fact I found out I was not be able to walk like normal people.
Okay, and then how did that make you feel?
Sad, upset, angry until now.
Okay, but then how do you get along? How did you accept it so that you remain positive?
I had to accept it to the thought I'm disabled. I'm like other people that I had to accept it because of my disability, and sometimes I had to make myself think to myself and talk to myself that I'm positive.
Okay. What do you like to become when you grow up?
I would love to be the youngest radio presenter in radio, because I'm for a fact I love radio. I'm interested in it, and it makes me the happiest teenage girl ever to listen to.
Okay, and what else? If you were to look at
And
your community,
my foundation makes me perfectly positive.
okay, so you also want to become the voice for who?
I mean,
You would like to become the voice for who?
I want to become the voice for the people that cannot talk for themselves. And I want to be there for them and look out for them. For the people that cannot talk, like what Solo saw, I want to be a Tulu fellow at a class. A friend of mine from school that she used to be, she couldn't talk because she was actually born somehow, but I wanted to speak out for the people that cannot talk for themselves because of their disability and advantage.
Okay, so what positive vibe message would you want to share with the youth?
I want to share a positive vibe with the youth to stop judging us, the people that are disabled, stop using disabled bathrooms, stop even making fun of us and looking at us, because we're also human beings and we're also like you guys. It's not like it's too heartbreaking and it's unacceptable.
Okay, so now let's go back to the question, which is the positive part. So you need to be transferring the energy. So how do you keep positive? So when you are feeling down, what do you do?
Listen to music.
Okay, what else? Dial a friend.
Talk to a friend. Talk to a friend or a teacher about these negativities I have.
Mm-hmm. And then
I
how
also
do you,
talk, how do I gain strength?
yeah.
Family, mommy, Taco, Tatile, everyone in the family I could think of, even my dad, I can think of him because I'm right here with him right now.
Okay, that's cool. Right. So you want to share a little bit about the Homo Art Foundation?
The Homo Art Foundation, it's like a campaign, but it's a management that we can help people that are disabled.
Okay, how do we help them?
You either contact us, me or mommy, to help you with the Homo Art Foundation. It helps people that are disabled, and all after transferring or running with the other people, we give this money to the people that do not have medical equipment.
Ah, great stuff, Komitahang. So mommy, go on mute so that I can just elaborate on that. Okay, thank you. So to everybody, so what we decided to do is we managed to open a foundation under Homotsehang, and it's called Homo R Foundation. So you can just go on Facebook in order for you to gain more details. So the reason why we decided to do that is to make sure that, because I've been there, I'm the mother, where Homo was struggling, and even when I was doing my coaching, I will go to our communities, our villages, and I could see how the kids with Homo's condition, how they are treated, how they are suffering. So the main mission for the foundation is to make sure that people with cerebral palsy live a healthier and happier life, And how we do that is the money that we get from the donation, we contribute it to Cerebral Palsy Research Institution to enable them to help, with the research, so that they can make, because this illness or this diagnosis is the permanent, so it's something that you cannot and you can undo. So by doing that, we are just enabling the researchers to research more about this, so that at least kids that are born after Homo are able to live a healthier life. Also, what we are aiming to do is to adopt few centers in our community, mostly disadvantaged community, the rural ones with medical equipment. So we've partnered with different medical companies who are willing to donate secondhand donation equipment, so that we can just distribute it into those centers. So that's her foundation, or the mission for the foundation. Homotahan doesn't benefit, but through her, we can enable others to benefit. So somebody might ask herself to say, how does Homotahan, remain positive? It also puzzles me, because if we were to spend time with Homotahan, Homo will tell you that she has ran comrades. So I'll give her a chance to share with you how she ran her comrades on a wheelchair. So Homza, just share with the team how you ran your comrades, so that people can just get a glimpse of how you do and how you think.
So, as Mommy has said, I've read the comrades for the people that are disabled, and you've been asking the main reason why. It's because I also have a group of runners that we run with for the people that are disabled.
So the other one that Homozahan wants to achieve this year. So I will give you a nutshell how Homozahan's brain operates. So the other one that we are preparing for is Homo wants to have a solo tour to Rosebank to go and have breakfast using a cow train. So as a mother, I'm working with a couple of funders to help her to get, or to ace her dream. So you can imagine Homozahan on her own. As I've already alluded, she's on a wheelchair, she's got mental challenges. How is she going to get herself into the how train? How is she going to navigate to get herself to Rosebank, have tea or coffee, and come back on her own? So that is another mission that I need to accomplish for her. Again, Homatang is 18. She wants to move out of the house by the age. How old, Homo, do you want to move out? So she wants to move out at 21. So I'm helping her to.
At what age does she wants to move out?
I would love to move out at the age of 21 when I'm matured enough to do things for myself.
Okay, so yes, you already answered that. So in a nutshell, I'm just showing you from the mute. Yeah, thank you. So in a nutshell, the reason why I was asking Kumu these two or three questions looking at her situation is everything starts with the mind. So Homusahang is irrespective of her situation, she operates everything with her mind. So her mind is very strong, it's powerful. So if Homusahang can conceptualize and say, this is what I want to achieve, as a parent, I need to be there for her, support her, and make it happen. So if I say no to Homusahang, that means I'm saying you are disabled, you cannot do it. So at all times, we try with Daddy, we try with family, you know, with that love to make sure that we are the enablers. So she's able to do what she wants. So Homusahang will say, Mommy, I want to go run comrades. And because she can't calculate, a 10-kilometer for her, it's a comrade. So we are enabling her, she will will herself. The plan will take roughly like 3 months for her to will herself for a 10-kilometer, and she will get there. So to everybody, all I'm saying is it starts with the mind, it starts with the support. At times we don't have the support, but then you can reach out. Where else we draw support with Homusahang is through we are Christians, we belong to Midrand Lutheran Church. So if we know that we've got difficulties, we reach out to our pastor. So don't bottle everything. We've got enablers out there, our communities, our pastors. We've got Pauline as well that facilitates this discussion. So reach out because we know that people with mental illness, chances are you feel that you are bottled, you cannot come out of your situation. But all I'm saying is love yourself. That's where everything starts. Reach out if you cannot do anything for yourself. So in a nutshell, that's Homusahang and Homusahang's mom and Homusahang's family, friends, and family members. So thanks for the opportunity, and I will then welcome questions.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
So I'll hand over to you, Pauline.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I don't know why everybody, when they speak, they can come to the screen except me. I can't get that part right. So, okay. Oh, there we go. Yes. So thank you so much. Thank you, Homo, for speaking to us today. You look so pretty, you look so beautiful. Really, you look like an 18-year-old, a young adult. You're not that young girl anymore. Hmm? She has really grown. Okay. So, guys, did you hear what Homo said? What I can take away from what she said, even with her condition, even with the fact that she can't walk, but there's something else that God has given her is her mind, is her brain, you know? So, what I want to say to you guys, whatever challenge or whatever limitation that we may think that we have, especially health wise, it's not the end. We don't need to give up. We don't need to, live in a negative mindset and think we cannot become anything. This session is about vision, having a vision for your life, how to execute that vision in action, vision in action, we call it these workshops. So Homo, she's not saying no, I'm disabled, no, I've got this condition. She's got a dream. She wants to be a presenter, a radio presenter, not just any presenter, the happiest. I mean, so if that doesn't challenge us to have a vision for our life, even with the limitations that we think we have, then nothing else will. That's why I invited her. And she says she wants to be a voice. She recognizes herself as the voice for those that who cannot talk for themselves. When we did the session of talking about identity, we spoke about such things. That who are you? She's the voice to those who cannot speak for herself. Her dream again is to move out of the house at the age of 21. Some of us at the age of 21, we are still trying to, you know, where do I go left? Do I go right? But she did not allow any condition, medical or not, any mental condition to limit her. She knows that she's fearfully and wonderfully made. God had a purpose with her life and still has a purpose with her life for her to be that voice. And she's living in that purpose that God has for her life. So I want to encourage you through her story to say it's not, you are not too young. The group that I'm with here, you are not too young to have a dream. She has dreamt of being out of the house at 21, 3 years to go. So Khali will be monitoring you in the next 3 years. Is Homo out of the house? It's your duty to support her, as you say. And I also like what she said, or I think it was you, Khali, who said it, that there's enablers out here. We are here, the community is there, there's family members that we can speak to. She also said she draws her strength from family and from friends. She also said sometimes she speaks to her teacher. So young people, you can speak to your teachers. You don't need to commit suicide when you are challenged or you are feeling down that day. You know, so that's a coping mechanism. And she says, I love music. I listen to music. I dance. Some of us have our full body functional. We are not in wheelchairs, but when we feel down, we just go and cry the whole day. We can't dance. But yes, for Motsahan, she says, I dance. She says, I've run the Comrade Marathon. Whether you think it was not me, through those runners, I was running. That is the power of the mindset. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So whatever you are thinking, that is who you are or who you will become. So I thank you so much, guys, for sharing that with us and for showing us life, you know, from a different perspective. Because her strength, you said, is her mind. So today we are talking about mind. So it's very important for us to build up our mindset. I'm going to just ask you if there's any questions, you can type it in the chat box. And then, but I asked ma'am to say, if there's questions for her, for Khomotsagang will answer them now. So that if she wants to do something else, we can let her go. Because she's not with the mom, she's with daddy today, so I'm not sure how's their program today. So is there any questions for Khomotsagang, guys? You can raise your hand, you can type it in the chat box. You're welcome to ask. There's a comment in the chat box. It says, Khomotsagang really warms my heart. Us able-bodied people can do more without dwelling much onto the limitations. She's doing things she sets her mind to, and that is inspiring. That's from Rabesu Chipe. Indeed, you know, it's true. We don't have any excuse. We don't have, you know, we can chase our dreams and we don't need to wait for a certain age. She's already figured out her life. She's only 18 now. And her mother said, medically, I don't know what other word she used. She said she's classed as a 9-year-old, meaning her mind is still of a 9-year-old, but she's already figured her life out. But some of us are already 20, 21, 30, you know, close to 40, and we are not thinking about our future. We are not thinking about what we want to change, what we want to see. Like I said, this session is about what you want to become. As far as your eyes can see, so shall you become. So Khomotsagang, you will be that radio presenter. I'll be your biggest subscriber to that radio show. Okay, there's a hand. Meme, you can speak. I saw your hand up. Do you have a question for Khomotsagang?
Yes. Yes, I actually, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I think I have a question more for Khomotsang's mom
Mom,
than
okay.
Khomotsang herself. Yeah, because I'm sure it must not be easy as a mom to raise a Khomotsang and also juggle your life, to make sure that you also follow your own dreams. How do you do it? Because I think that is also a very strong mental lesson we can get from there, to say, as young kids are growing up, as people, if we have to be supportive to people that are dealing with mental issues, how do we make sure that we ground ourselves so that we also don't lose that balance mentally ourselves? How do you do it? What do you do for yourself to keep yourself grounded and be able to juggle everything?
Okay, no, that's a wonderful. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. So that's a beautiful question, and I could anticipate that, right? But everything for me starts with God, right? It's acknowledging your situation and saying to yourself, it's not a mistake that God gave you this special child, right? It was difficult at the beginning to accept. So I had to go through different phases in my life of denial. Once denial, then you pick up your pieces and say to yourself, where am I going to seek help? So seeking help, I had to go through different work groups where people have gone through what I'm going through. Then they will share their stories to say this is how they are managing, and keeping in mind that at the same time, you still have to pay the medical bills. So I cannot say I'm going to sit at home and hope for somebody to pay my bills. So it's about grounding yourself. It's about believing in God. So that's the first thing. Secondly, it's about, looking at, I've already mentioned the enablers to say, at the end of the day, Homo still needs to be fed, she needs to be bathed. So who's going to be taking care of that element? So then I've got a helper that's taking care of that element. Over and above, I've got a very strong, supportive family and friends. So if I know that I'm overwhelmed, I can always ask for help. So I'm not shy to ask for help. So I'll ask my sister to step in. I'll ask my friends like Nozuko. I'll ask my church members. If I feel overwhelmed, to say, please take Homo for a couple of minutes where I rejuvenate. So it's mentally as well, where I will go, for a massage, treat myself, appreciate and love myself. So that's how I normally juggle my life. If I feel overwhelmed, I'll raise my hand to say I'm sinking. And over and above that, I've got a personal psychologist, so I'll always check in. So it's not easy. There are days where I'm swamped, I'm low on energy. So I need to go refuel. So refueling meaning I need to know, you cannot give if your cup is empty, right? So then I know I need to have that sense to say, you know what, this is time to check in with the psychologist so that we can remove the clutter in my life. So that's how I do my 360. So every 6 months, I will do a 360 to say, where is Khali? Am I where I want to be mentally, physically, in everything? If not, then I will reach out. So that's normally what I do. And I also have Homo sister Nzako. I've got her helper, that are helping me, as well as Daddy to look after Homo Taha. So that's how I navigate my life. And I hope I've answered your question.
Are you answered, Meme?
Yeah, no, I'm happy. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's important what Pal is saying, because
Narrative.
sometimes we lose ourselves. Can somebody mute? I'm not sure who. We lose ourselves in, you know, taking care of others. We don't see that our cup is running in. Okay, okay, they've muted. We lose ourselves in taking care of others, and then we forget that as much as we have children, we are also people that God wants to use, that we also have our own dreams. So it's important to take care. And what I liked, she said she's not shy. to ask for help, because many times we drown because we feel ashamed or we feel embarrassed to ask for help. We don't acknowledge that we need.
All right.
Who's speaking? We don't acknowledge.
Noren.
Oh God. Oh, okay, mute. We don't acknowledge that we need help. And she says, I ask my family, I ask my friends, I ask my church people, so there's help around us. So many times we drown and we don't reach our dreams, because why? We are dying in silence, we are living in silos, we are afraid to say, whoo, I'm overwhelmed, can you help me out? And number two, she said, I go to a psychologist. As a Black community, there's this stigma around going to see a psychologist or a social worker. You think it's weakness. It's not weakness. The people are trained, are professionals to deal with such matters. So I like what she said, because she says every 6 months I check myself to say, Khali, are you where you supposed to be, or you are still back there somewhere, or have you lost yourself in taking care of others, or have you lost yourself in all the, especially as women, we've got so much to do. There's, and we are also coming here in these workshops and telling you, you must have a vision, your personal development, you must get a PhD, you must be this, you must start a business, and your children you must teach them in the ways of the Lord, and you must make money, you must not have debts. It's overwhelming at times. So it's important to check yourself, to say, where am I, where do I need to be? And here I have sunk, I need help, or I need to withdraw. So thank you for that answer. We are moving on from Homozahan. There's the last comment that says, Homo is a blessing, and we are learning a lot through her life. So Homozahan, thank you so much. We love you so much. You look so beautiful. I'm going to be in touch, making sure that you are out of your mother's house by the age of 21. We'll make that dream happen. Okay. All right.
You're
So
welcome. I can see you all from there. I want to say a special hi and a special thank you to Mommy. And thank you for everything you guys done. And I really appreciate it. Please stay strong and everything else.
yeah, thank you. Okay, so thank you so much for coming. There's people that want to clap hands. You can. I'm here with a lot of people. They are blessed. Your peers, come this side. Let them see you. Yeah, you can come. Come. Komotaka wants to see you. How do I do that? Come. Komotaka, I want to show them to you. Spotlight. Calm down. Don't give me your COVID-19. Allah Come down. Do you see them? These are your friends. These are the people you've been talking to. She's, how old are you? 16. Only 2 years to go to your age. You? 14. You see, your siblings. One day I'm gonna bring them to meet you. Maybe you can just have a session with them. But sharp, but sometimes they don't want to listen. But I believe today you are their peer. They have heard you. Ne? Sharp. Okay. Thanks for more. Thanks, Halim. You are welcome. Most welcome to stay and listen to the other speakers. But if you are committed elsewhere, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much. So now we are going to move over to, we have Me Pula Moring. She's a clinical psychologist. She's going to educate us a little bit more on mental health. What is it, and how do we deal with it, and why we should not be ashamed to seek for help, and why we should not be ashamed, to accept or open up our eyes a bit, make us aware. Me Pula, are you ready for us? You are on mute. You can unmute your mic. And yes. Unmute.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. And thanks, Colleen.
Just take your
And thanks,
screen.
Colleen.
Just take your screen down, Khanyani. We just see your glasses. We don't see you. Yes, there you go.
Can you see
There
me
you
now?
go. Welcome. Thank
Eh,
you so much, Mama, for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
oh,
Mm.
okay. Thank you, everyone. I've learned so much from our last speaker. Her name is Remone.
Khumotsekgang. Yes.
I've learned so much. And thank you, me, for the invite. As our theme for the workshop is vision in action. It's very interesting because we say we all have vision in our life, but our problem is always the mission to go there. But today, it was explained to us so well that we know our way now to get to our vision. Thank you. And above everything, we thank God who made us that our mini diaries coincide with his big diary for us to be able today to be here. We thank him, we give him praise, honor, and glory.
Amen.
And thank you for everybody. We are all friends here. We are all friends and we are all going to learn from each other. As I've said, I've learned so much from our previous presenter. Let me start with mental health. Mental health, as we normally say, we say in Tswana. I'll just contribute a little bit about the mental health in Tswana. Ra re ke kgatelelo ya maikutlo. And everybody in life goes through that. But the important thing is, as Khumutsagang has said, where are you and who is surrounding you when your mood is very low? It's very, very important. So today we are going to talk about the mood disorder. I decided to pick that up because everybody goes through that. It's just that it differs with people and it differs with our circumstances that we find ourselves in. The mood disorder starts with not feeling good about yourself. And the mood disorder also goes to emotions because it affects our emotions. And in affecting our emotions, we have what you call emotional intelligence. In emotional intelligence, we have to check how we express our emotions, especially negative emotions. Because after mismanaging that, we always feel guilty and we always know that the situation that we were supposed to manage, we couldn't manage. And what comes to our mind, to our thoughts, especially negative thoughts, it's self-blame. You always blame yourself. So we must every time be able to manage our emotions, because our emotions, they can let us so down if you are not able to manage emotions. Because at times you say things that you are not supposed to say. And as I indicated, that it's self-blame, it's regrets, it's everything. You find that, you know what, your self-esteem is so down that you didn't manage your emotions properly. And also our thoughts. We must be able to manage our thoughts. You can say, Mema Morweng, how do we manage our thoughts? We've got positive thoughts and negative thoughts. And we must always fight to be positive. Because if you are going to be negative, in fact, it affects your feelings, how you feel. You feel down, you feel sad, you feel tearful, and you are not going to see anything in life being positive. All these feelings that are negative, they make you feel not important in life. And at the end, you don't see yourself contributing to anything. And at the end, can you hear me?
Yes, Mama, we can hear you. Neke khalemela bakeng
Oh.
sa bona, sorry.
Oh, no, okay. I thought you are communicating to me. Okay. And then, if you feel sad and you feel bad about yourself, what's going to happen? Suicidal thoughts creeps in and tell you that this is the right thing that I must do because I've lost everything in life. And it starts where? It starts with your thinking pattern. It goes to emotions, emotional intelligence. How do you manage that? And then it goes to the feelings. And when you feel bad about yourself, you don't appreciate anything about yourself, then feelings of suicide comes in. We say, now you are suicidal. And if you are suicidal, it means you are depressed. Depression is a mental illness. It's one of the mental illness. And we are used to say, hey, you know, my friend, I feel so low, I'm depressed. It's more than that because it's a clinical diagnosis. With depression, it starts with stress. And when the stress is not managed, you are not able to switch from negative to positive, then what comes in is depression. And depression has got symptoms. Let me just share with you these symptoms. You don't eat, but we make it very, very, very clear to you that not only one symptom. And after one symptom said, oh, I didn't eat, I'm depressed. No, they have to be 5 or more. Not eating well, not sleeping well, loss of concentration, loss of interest in life. If you are the person who loves cooking, who loves the kitchen, and you always have excuses that I didn't do this because I was tired, you must know that depression is creeping in. You are a person who loves reading, but you've got lots of books, lots of articles to read from. But if you don't do that, know that the depression can creep in, and it can creep in anytime. Another thing is being tearful. You feel like crying, but you don't know why are you crying. It means that your emotions, your feelings has gone down and you cannot manage anything. And I've indicated 5 to 6 symptoms. Then we can clinically say, no, you are depressed. And then let me leave it there. Any questions? Any questions?
Any questions on the floor? Yeah, there's a question here with on the
Okay.
floor where I'm sitting. You can
I can't hear.
No, I'll repeat it. She's sitting there at the corner.
Okay.
How
Okay. Thank
important
you.
is it go botlhokwa go le kang-kang to recognize the feelings, to identify, yeah, the feelings for people feel. Sometimes we're disappointed, but how come I'm disappointed or I'm sad? Come closer so I'm not repeating half the question. That's sit here so that people can listen. Yeah, you can speak.
ne ke re go botlhokwa go lokakang gore o le motho o itse go identify di-feelings like a ke re rona gantse re gola re tlwaetse fela go ntse gore I'm sad, I'm happy, but go na le gore like o ka describe a feeling e o le mo yona, maybe motho go disappointed le setse gore I'm disappointed ntse gore I'm sad, ga o bue straight gore ntho e so e nkutlwisitse botlhoko ke yana, maikutlo a ka a ntse yana, or I'm angry. Ke ra go botlhokwa go loka ka gore we need to identify the feelings or the emotions tsa rona.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for sharing with us. It's very important to identify your feelings. To identify our feelings because we are in a phase that we call denial. At times, you are fighting with yourself. You are saying, not this person. He is not going to pull me down, or she's not going to pull me down. But you are not doing anything with the emotion. You sit on that emotion. You have just said to yourself, he's not going to pull me down. She's not going to pull me down. But what are you doing with the emotion? You live with that emotion rather than sharing with somebody. And after sharing and identify the symptoms that I've mentioned to you, that you know what, after that confrontation with that person, hey, I feel bad about myself. I feel down. I feel humiliated. I'm blaming myself. I feel guilty. I don't know what to do. I've lost interest in eating, sleeping. I don't sleep well. All those things, we must be aware that now we are moving from depression to, we are moving from stress-related illness to depression. And depression, as I indicated, is an illness that's going to need medication and psychotherapy. Seeing somebody who's going to help you deal with your emotions and feelings.
Thank you, Mama. So, okay, there's another
Okay.
question. There's a hand up, Sebate, I see you.
Mm.
So you are saying there's a difference between stress and depression because we use this word
Yes.
depression so loosely. Every day, we're like, oh, I'm so depressed today. Oh, you know, my boss
Yeah.
in England, like, I'm so depressed today. So there is a difference
Yeah.
between stress and
There is a
depression.
difference. And depression.
Okay.
Depression is a higher level of stress.
Of stress.
Because at times, yes, we are stressed. I can be stressed because of my financial status, but you find that I managed to manage that problem. Then it doesn't go to depression. It's just stress and then or a challenge. So when we are challenged, we must just accept that it's a challenge it will go away. Others don't go away. They live with us. As the previous speaker, sorry I didn't take your name, has said, how are you going to know that now you are depressed? Or how are you going to know that you are stressed? And what to do? That's why I said to her, talk to somebody. Because at times we make
you have muted. Okay.
because we all emotions, we have feelings, we have thoughts, we have everything that another person has. Unfortunately, how do we manage that? Gets us to the illness of depression.
So it's very important to manage your thoughts so that they don't lead to your emotions, they don't lead to that unmanaged stress, and to deal with the challenges and to talk about them so that we don't find ourselves depressed. So there's a question, can I ask, there's another question. Can I ask that we note down the questions and then we'll answer them together. Ne? Sebate, you can ask your question and then I'll go to Reabetu Tipe after that.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I think some of my questions are answered. I was just going to ask if I see something something from the person, maybe I can see that he's not eating, he's not sleeping well, and then what must I do to help him or her?
Okay.
I can see that this person is depressed and I want to help. What must I do to approach that person? What must I do and help him in medication?
Okay, in approaching that person, what you do, you advise him or her. What you do, you advise. You give advice that, you know what, I can see that you are not well. Well, in terms of when you're depressed, your energy goes down. And most of the time you feel like sleeping. So there'll be so many changes in that person that you realize you are going to be able to open the door. And then you say, you know, these days you don't communicate well, because most of the people who are depressed are irritable, you know, and the people who suffers are the people who are around that person. So I can realize, you know, you're not yourself. I'm advising you to go to the clinic. And at the clinic, the nurses, the doctors will realize that the person with the symptoms that I've indicated, there are many, and they'll be able to give that person medication and then refer to the social worker or to the psychologist or to anybody who's very supportive. Because we go also to our pastors. They do help in treating our depression, but you have to have medication and psychotherapy. Because if you take medication alone, yes, if you are depressed, it means your hormones are not functioning well. Hence, they don't function well. We need medication to be able to work with your hormones so that your symptoms are elevated. And then we've got what we call a mood elevation. Other people, they become so elevated that you won't believe. But the majority of people, the mood becomes very low. Hence, we have what we call bipolar. We have people who will be very, very, very active, but the next day they'll be so flat. It's nothing else but that person is not well. We call it chemical or hormonal imbalance. And when you get medication, you are fine and you are functioning like any other person. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm answered. Thanks
Okay,
a lot.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
thank you.
There's another question. I think you touched on it a little bit, but you will elaborate. From Rabetsu Tipe.
Okay.
Are there other outlets we can use to get out of depressive state? Because seeing a psychologist, or besides seeing a psychologist, as some people cannot afford to do so. Your screen is, I don't know what's happening. We just see your glasses now. Okay.
Can you see me now, colleague?
Yes, we can see. So if somebody cannot
Okay,
afford a
okay.
psychologist, not everybody has a medical aid, or what other options
It's
are
true.
there?
It's
Yes.
true. Okay. Okay. The options are our physical being. What do we do with ourselves? Are we going to sit and not do anything? As you have indicated, Colin, that if you cannot afford, but I always say our parents are psychologists, our friends are psychologists, because talking to somebody helps us so much. Our pastors, anybody that you trust, we can talk to that person. But at the clinic, they'll be able to give you medication. And most of our clinics has got psychologists and social workers and counselors. But on our own, we can do physical exercises. They are very important. And also, we have to learn to eat well. Eating well, it means the food that doesn't have too many fats, too many, the things that are not supposed to be in our food. And we know them, but we always run to them. Remember, at times when we are too stressed or too depressed, you run to the fatty foods, you run to the food that we call junk, because they automatically fill your void. Because at times you feel so empty. You think that when we eat, we are going to be well, but watch what you eat. And more in our clinics, most of our clinics they've got experts in this field, dietitians. They'll help you. They'll definitely help you. When you have seen the sister, you say, do you have a dietitian? They'll definitely send you to a dietitian who will indicate what food to eat. In vegetables, fruits, water, and supplements. But before you take supplements, consult with a doctor or consult with a nurse at the clinic. I don't know if I'm understood. What can you do when?
Are you answered?
When are yourself, what can you do?
Rabbit, are you answered? I believe so. There's the clinics can offer psychologists as well that you don't have to pay for, and social workers, and we can, exercise
and dietitians.
And dietitians as well. So Mama, I know that you are a believer, right? And sometimes in our community, I'm saying I know that you are a believer. You believe in God. And sometimes we get in our communities or in our lives, they say, no man, just pray this thing away. You don't have enough faith. That's why you are depressed. So how is it true? How do we balance the us praying about it, and and some or you go to a pastor, for example, and then they say, no man, you don't have enough faith, just confess. We believe that what you confess with your mouth you shall become, and you are still going through. Can you talk to us on both aspects in terms of our faith and the medical side of things?
Okay. Quite challenging, because our faith differs. There are people who will be saying, let us pray about it. And they believe that, God is in our midst and we are going to be able to challenge this. And then you can also say, you know what? Let's leave it to the Lord, and the Lord will take over. But it depends of how we believe in the Lord. Because at times we take it to the Lord, and then tomorrow you say, God, you are too slow, I'm taking it back. And then you want to do whatever, because we know that God is a faithful God. And our time is not God's time. And we must keep on believing. And when we believe in the Lord, you know, it makes our thoughts, it changes our thought from negative to positive. Saying, I've given everything to the Lord. I'm just waiting for God's answer. And if you believe in that, definitely it shall come to pass. But as you have indicated that other people, you can say, let's just give this to the Lord. And then the person feels that, oh, where is God when I've suffered so much? It's different. But in psychotherapy, our duty is to challenge all the negative thoughts in one's mind and teach a person new skills of living. I mean, if you are, say, in a relationship and you realize that I keep on hurting in this relationship, we are not going to say as psychologists, leave this person. It's very difficult. We cannot say that. We don't make choices for people, but we encourage people that, you know what, when you are always, your emotions are always down, know that the stress level now is going to creep to depression. Are you going to be depressed rather than
I'm not sure what's happening. I think there's network issues, guys, but I think you have heard that sometimes we say, okay, we are handing over something to God, and then the next day we take it back. But also it's important to say, as we are waiting on God, to come through and whatnot, there's help that you can get, medically. Just like when you've got flu, it doesn't mean you don't believe in God anymore when you take medication. And also,
exactly?
as God is leading you, because God deals with us in different ways. I
Yeah,
myself have been diagnosed with depression many years ago, and I took medication, and I, believed in God. And there came a time when I felt that, what, the power of God, I feel I'm okay. And I was not on medication anymore. But that does not mean God was not there all the time. And that does not mean that the medication did not work. So we are taking the last question. There's a comment on the chat box from Rabetwi. This is the last one, then we go to the next speaker because we want to finish at 5. Says, Auntie Lolo, on the topic of praying it away, I find that to be difficult to do. My experience with it is that whenever I'm in a very depressive state, I struggle with praying as a whole. Sometimes I do pray on it, and having people to tell me to pray about it every time I speak about how I feel, it makes me feel worse, as if I'm not praying properly or God is not hearing me. This is exactly what I just said. The fact that you are on medication does not mean that God is not there with you. And the fact that, you are feeling a certain way does not mean that God is not here, God does not hear you. So sometimes it's true, when you speak to people, they make you feel like, you don't have enough faith, or you are not praying properly, and then people just take the space of God in your life. So it's important when you speak, yes, who are you speaking to? You're speaking to the right people. And it's important when you don't feel like praying that you pray, because then you are opening up another angle. If you spend a day or two in that state and you have not even prayed, then you are exposing yourself. Prayer is not about feelings, because we live by faith and not by sight. We are praying to a God who is a spirit. We are praying to a God who is not flesh. So how you feel, you are not praying by your feelings. You are speaking to him, and by faith you believe that he has heard you and it is well. You may not feel it in your
Amen.
flesh, you may not feel it in your mind. So that is not what prayer is. It's not about something that you must feel or not feel. I believe that when I have said, thank you, Lord, for this day that I am protected, by faith, I believe that he has heard me, I'm protected. You know, when I go through that street and I see two guys coming and they look suspect, like they're gonna take my phone, I believe that no, I have prayed. You know, I may feel challenged by those guys, but I believe that I'm protected. I'm not alone. I can speak to myself. Komotaran said sometimes she speaks to herself. So it's very important. Self-talk is very, very important. So, but I think our next speaker will also speak to such, because she's also been diagnosed with depression and bipolar, but she's functioning. So I want her to, as we move on to her, to just talk to us. She's also a believer, to say, how do you function? Sometimes maybe she will answer Rabetsu's question, to say, how do I then, keep the faith? Or people say that I'm not praying properly. Is it that you're not praying properly, that's why you still have bipolar, or what? How do you function? I wanted to speak on that, to touch on that as well. So
Okay.
yeah, thank you, Mama. You are still on the line, right? There might be other questions that will come up after Meme has spoken. So I want us to
Okay.
move over to her, and then she'll
Okay.
tell us her story, because she's
All right.
functioning. I believe that she's thriving as a person. She's thriving in her professional career. She's thriving as a mother. She's leading at church, but she still have this condition. How is she doing it, and what does she think about God in all this? So Meme, are you ready for us? Thank you, ma'am. Don't go away.
Okay. I
Meme,
want Colleen.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, I muted myself. Yeah, so welcome. Thank you so much. Guys, this is my super glue. That's what I call her. I've tried to delete her from my life. She refused to be deleted. She tries to delete me from her life. I also refuse to be deleted. I've known her for many years, I think since 2005, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. 2005. At the time we were working together, and at the time I was also going through the most. I had a stalker in my life. And she was the one who I would talk to and all that. So she's gone through her own journey with mental health, and she says she's a mental health advocate, a title that I've had when I made the flyer, because I asked for a tagline. So please speak to us about your story, and if you can answer that question, yeah, Riabet. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Hi.
Hi.
I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer Riabetsu's question, and yeah, because it's not easy. Why I say I'm an advocate, not to say I speak on behalf of people that have some sort of mental issue or mental disorder, but I speak to the fact that it exists, most especially for Black people because it's not something that we grow up knowing. It's not something that we think it exists. That we always given quite a lot of reasons as to why people are a certain way. And I will not speak to the fact that are they like that because of that, or are they not? But I always say, in everything that we say about how people behave and how people are, when you see someone running down the street wearing 5 jerseys when it is hot and they are saying quite a lot of things, there could be reasons that they are like that. But there's also a question of mental stability or mental wellness that we might need to consider or talk to or even explore to say, is it one of the reasons why they are like that? So that is the advocacy part of things. And then Lolo just said, I'm thriving. I'm not sure if I'm thriving. Mama Moreng can maybe also assist me with that. I think I'm coping, and by the grace of God, I'm able to see the next minute. I'm able to see tomorrow. I can tell you that even today, it was a struggle for me to actually log on. It's been a struggle for me to just stay on this call because I've been at home for 2 weeks. I was diagnosed with bronchitis, so I have not been able to go out. It's that time of the month. It's nearly month end. I don't even have money to go buy tomatoes, so my emotions are all over the place. And it's mainly because in 2016, so I'm quite young at this as well. Between 2016, I was 36. So I'm 42, I'm turning 42 this year. I was diagnosed with, well, I'm bipolar type 2. And I also have what we call attention deficiency hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. So normally ADHD, they know it. It's normally kids that are said to have ADHD. It's very rare that it is actually recognized in adults. I know that when I go for my monthly refills of my prescriptions, even from pharmacists, I get looks to say, who are these pills for? And I say, it's for me. And they're like, oh, okay, because they would know what it is for. I take it you can still hear me, ne? So I don't know. Yeah, so what happened in 2016 for me to be diagnosed is I lost it. I've been losing it most of my life. When someone has bipolar, like Mepula said, you have ups and downs in emotions. There'll be times where I'm very excited where I don't even know like what brings this happiness. I still get those moments. I get them a lot. Even now, like I'm happy. At least now I have a reason why I'm happy. I get very excited, and if you ask me why I'm excited, like I really don't have. I just think life is the best thing ever. Like, guys, we can do this. Let's move on. Let's do this. And at work, I'm thriving. I'm the best thing since double door fridge and a mirror sliced bread. And then the next moment, I'm like, God, like, what's going on? Life is so hard. Things are working out. I just feel otherwise. And then on other days, I'll tell you I'm losing my internet connection. How irritating you are. I remember there's a time where I was we call them mental institutions, we call them wellness centers for 2 weeks. This time I'd actually checked myself in. And well, we share beds. And something happened where there were 2 of us in a bedroom. and my bedroom mate was discharged. And for one or other reason, I had to be moved to another room. And mind this, I'm at the hospital, I'm a wellness facility. I'm taking my medication every day. And even worse, when you're there for 2 weeks, you talk every day. And one of the hospital staff came, and then he asked that I moved to another room. For one or other reason, I had to be moved to another room, but it wasn't properly explained to me, because also with my condition, you have to be very clear in what you explain to me. I'm very particular. Things have to be in a certain way. You have to explain yourself. You don't just tell me to do things, because I will go off. And I always say, you don't want to see me angry. So obviously at that time, Mepula spoke about it. It's about your thoughts and emotions. They don't balance. They don't talk to each other at that time. I lost it because I wasn't told that I was going to be moved to another room. I was not told why I'm going to be moved to another room. Now it was 9 o'clock at night. I should be sleeping. You know I should be sleeping, and you're telling me to pack my bags and take them to the other room. And I'm screaming, I am not going to do it. I am not moving. If you want to pack my things, you'll pack them myself, and don't you dare touch my things. So those are the type of emotions that one goes through. It is more like on a daily basis. And I can tell you, we take medication, and we will still talk to the spiritual part as well. We take medication, and it is only part of the holistic, well, for me, the holistic approach to healing, to being better. I take medication every morning, antidepressants and anxiety medication. And really, from what I've been told, because I have bipolar type 2, I cannot take medication for the bipolar. I take the medication because with my bipolar comes the depression, which is what they called hypomania, which means it's a very down state of depression. And then anxiety medication, because then I become excited, which is the hypermania. So in any given time, I can be very sad or I can be very happy. So that's the bipolar part. And then comes the attention deficiency hyperactivity disorder, which is the ADHD. It also gives you the same. The symptoms are more or less the same. With ADHD, I'm more excited than actually being on a depressive mode. And I see that, and I've seen that growing up in my life more when I'm in a state of being at school, or I am at work, or in around people, where now I am this, I am all of that. I want to be seen. There was a time I used to say, Lolo knows I'm one of those people, I'm always on point. Even today, I had to calm myself down to say, you don't need to. I would put makeup on, I would change my hair. I always have to be the best looking person in the room. I'm the one who wants to be seen. I talk a lot. I had to be number one go school. When I was doing from primary into my high school, I had to have the best marks. Even now at work, I'm the star performer. I deal a lot with audits. I take it very hard if I don't pass my audits. I just have to be that person that is being spoken about. It's an attention deficiency, meaning I want attention. I need to be the best that there is. So it talks to the ADHD. And then I leave that space of being the star. And then I get home. When I get home, I go down. Because when you are at home, when I'm at home, I'm in my comfort space. I'm home. When you're at home, what's going to show me that I'm the best that there is? I cannot be wearing heels and walking around in the house. But believe me, I do. I get times where I will wear my new shoes and I lie on my bed. It is really, yo, guys, I don't know how to explain it. You only understand it when you are in it and you are aware of it. When you are not aware of it, you keep on questioning yourself. People find you weird. You also find yourself weird. I mean, I was growing up, I can't sit still. I can't sit still for more than an hour. It's a good thing that we are on video and I can switch off my video. I can tell you that since we started at 3 o'clock, I've stood up once and I've gone next door because I can't sit still. But it's the awareness that I have. I'm aware of my situation. Before, I couldn't control it because I wasn't aware. When my emotions were going out, I was not aware that my emotions were going out. There are still days when I'm not aware that my emotions are not going are going out, and that's where the support comes in, and then people can bring you down to say, madam, it's like you're going left, and it's like I say, you people don't understand it until they are in it and they are made aware that they are in it. And I cannot tell you how you will know that you're in it. But what I say is, I ask people to say, as Black people, see someone, be it a pastor, have a trusted friend that you can talk to, that attend such things. And I even struggle to attend. Lolo can tell you, I don't know how many times she's invited me to your Zoom meetings, but I always have a reason why I can't attend. Either I'm cooking or whatnot. And that is just the nature of our disabilities or our disorders, as we would like to call them. So it is a balance of medication, like I said. It is a balance of friends and people that I think Mama Khali earlier said, enablers. I call them helpers. People that you can talk to, people that can assist you, a person who will just pick up the phone or send you a WhatsApp and say, how are you doing? Because people don't realize that when you send me that WhatsApp, it takes me out of a certain stage that you are not aware of. Because most of the time, if I'm quiet and I'm not doing anything, then it means my mind starts racing, my emotions start going all over the place, even when I'm still on medication. And then there's the other part of spirituality. And I can tell you that I think this is, for me, the one thing that has sustained me. And I remember even when I was first diagnosed and I was seeing, I'm seeing a psychiatrist and a psychologist. And my psychiatrist said to me, because I have depressive moods and I have hyperactivity modes and I have anxiety modes, people with my disorders, because remember I have a combination, I have two, you end up in one of two ways. You either commit suicide because it is too much for you to handle, or you actually go mad. And I fortunately have not been I've not gone any of the two. I think I was going more of the med side. And when I'm talking, I actually say I don't think, I actually think I am mad because of the things that I know and the things that I do. But from the suicidal side, it is my spirituality, as much as I was not aware of it, that sustained me. Because when she asked me, why have I never given up, even when things were not bad, I said to her, because I know that nothing lasts forever. At some point, it does stop. At some point, God comes through. I don't know how he does, but it does happen. And you can imagine with all of this, there's a lot of symptoms. There are times where I have been very strong in faith. There are times where I've lost my faith. There are times where I can't pray. I can't pray. But I pray in singing. I sing. I grew up singing at church. I sing. I sing happy songs. I do rap. I do whatnot. But I find that when I'm at my lowest, there's certain particular songs that I sing, and they have sustained me. And it just so happens that those songs are religious songs. So that is where the spirituality part of me comes in. And I'm minding the time, because I also don't stop talking. I never stop talking. I talk a lot. It's in my nature because of my ADHD and my bipolar, although it's not an excuse. I must be mindful of the time. Church for me, I haven't been able to go to church for 2 weeks, obviously because of the flu that I'm having, and that's part of the reasons why I feel down. I feel sort of like I'm losing it. And I need to go to church. I have the flu, but I've decided that tomorrow I am going to church, because I find that balance. I fellowship, because again, in my personal space, I struggle to make friends. I have 2 trusted friends. I have a lot of people that I know, but I only have 2 friends. So you can imagine, if one has 2 friends, how many people do I really talk to, except for when I'm at church and except for when I'm at work. So I find solace in God a lot. I pray. I tend to be able to fellowship whichever way. And I remember even last night, I got fixated, and I ended up trying to study Genesis chapter 1 to chapter 18. But those are the things that sort of like keep me grounded. I also struggle with praying, but I can tell you that when I struggle praying, I find another means to connect with God. That is the one thing. And on the social side, when I struggle, I find means to talk. So I just send a WhatsApp, a hi, and I know that the people that will send me a hi, that the people that I will just say a hi to will then come back to me, and then I can start having a conversation. As one of my manic, I'm probably using a lot of words because we don't have a lot of time, but at times where I've had hypermania, hyperactivity days, or the upper part of the bipolar, because it's 2 polars, it's the low side and the high side. I've spent a lot of money wasting. I would go shopping, buy things that I don't need, change my hair, do my hair, and all of those things. So there are times where I find myself having those moments of hyperactivity. So when I find those type of hyperactivities for me, then I will find something to do in the house. I will wash dishes, I will clean, I will take out all my shoes and start cleaning them, so that at least I keep busy, because I'm quite conscious, to get into the car, take a wallet and go to the shops and go buy, because with that I'm getting myself into a whole lot of trouble. So I'm not sure if it explains how these disorders work. In order for me to be able to talk about it and talk about how each and every step, or how everything happens, how I got diagnosed, what the issues that I found that I had, it will take more than, probably I need the whole 3 hours to tell my experiences. But in a nutshell, that's what I can tell you. In order for me to be able to continue moving on is that I'm very conscious. I try to be very conscious. Every day I take daily stock every day. When I get home every day, I try to take 5 minutes, or even when I'm driving in my car, to say, how was my day today? How am I doing? How am I showing up? How am I feeling? Then I make sure that I take my meds, and then I make sure that I at least pray. If I'm not able to pray, I sing. I sing one hymn, one gospel song, just to try and balance. And Me Muruing said it earlier that it's also very important to exercise. And I must say that it's one part where I'm lacking. I used to run. I was running. I do run. I do exercise, but lately and I'm quite conscious of it, and I know that it's leading me into another direction. I've sort of like slacked, meaning then again I need to hype myself up. I need people like Bololo to come to say to me, Madam, when are you going to run? Can you at least go and take a walk, or even in my house, my partner is here. He exercises a lot, and I take from that. So I don't know if in a nutshell I've sort of like given an idea of how what goes on in one's mind and emotion in life in general when you are dealing with a mental disorder.
You have, it's not a nutshell, it's not a nutshell, it was quite a lot that we took back. But what I took from you is the awareness part of it, because if you're not aware, like you say, it will affect other parts of your life. Like if you're not aware that you are in this hyper state, you went on a shopping spree, and I know you like pricey things. So your financial, this is being in action. So meaning it would affect your financial
Mm.
well-being. It would affect your financial goals because you just went and swiped, how much only God knows. We will not mention, and only to find out it was not the day for shopping. You were just feeling hyper because of the condition. But being aware of, okay, this is where I am, you manage to substitute it with cleaning instead, so your wallet is still safe. And I know that there's times where I like what you say, to say have the supporters, or you call them helpers. Halle said they are enablers. It's important to have somebody in your circle that you can, talk to, or they can check up on you. Because sometimes she would be quiet for a week. And then I know this silence I don't like. I will ask her, you are too quiet. What's happening? And then she will either say, no, I've been busy at work, don't worry, I'm busy with audits. Or she will say, it's that time, I'm just, taking it easy. So it's important. I'm talking for if there's somebody in your family or your friends or whatever, to just be that person. You know, because we raise children and we see that there's things happening with them, but we don't know how to deal with them. So today we've, I think, learned how to help those that are also around us, not only for ourselves. I think when I sent a message, WhatsApp message during the week to other people, I said, let's come and learn, not only for ourselves, because you would be at home and say, my daughter committed suicide. How did it happen? Why did I miss it? I didn't see anything. But today we are learning to say, before it even gets to that, there's a stage, there's thoughts. That's why it's important to talk to our loved ones. What are you thinking? Let's get what this person actually is thinking before we crash them and say, no, you don't say that, you must say this. We must give them a chance so that we can hear what the person is actually thinking. And from there, Pula said there's then emotions, and then it leads to stress. If you don't manage the stress, you are stressed about not having money. You're not depressed, So if we can identify what's stressing you and we manage it, like I always joke with her and say, it's month end, I'm not happy. Month end, I don't like spending money because I must pay for this, pay for that. I'm not happy, but I'm not depressed, and
Mm.
So, but we must deal with that. Okay, why am I happy month end? It's because I hate paying for things. You know, so it's either I must have more money so that paying for things is not so painful anymore, or must cut down things that I'm paying for, whatever. But the issue here is this, you know. So before it escalates to depression, let's pin it where it is. So awareness is very, very important. That's why this.
And
Yeah,
it's also very important, ne, to admit and accept your state.
Hmm.
Like we say, you need to own it and say, at this point, this is how I am feeling. Because the minute you acknowledge the feelings, then it's better than to actually deal with them. And and it's that it's one of the reasons people don't say when they have mental disorders or mental issues, because some of them are not permanent, eh? Mine are permanent, but like some of the post traumatic depressions and whatnot, some of them are not permanent. You go through a program for a certain period, but it's very important to admit and accept your situation, even if it means making people aware, because once you accept your situation, then you can deal with it. Denial, I say, is one of the worst things that can happen to a person, because if you are in denial, there's no way that you can fix. There's no way that you can get help, because you refused to believe that there is something. And we say it's not, you are not abnormal. I'm not abnormal. I'm normal in a different way to other people. So it's not an abnormality, it's a different normality, because what is normal anyway? So once you can accept that there is something different about you to the general population, as we can call it, and then you start dealing with that, then the better it is for one. Once you can acknowledge at any given point, like I say, I'm not at a depressive or depressed state, that low mood, but I can acknowledge to say I'm starting to feel stressed about certain things, and I know if I don't handle them, then it's going to lead me somewhere else.
It's true. It's true that especially with young children, peer pressure of you want to be like that person, you comparing yourself with your friend, you know, it's like you say, what is normal? Because you want to be their normal, and you are your own normal. You know, they
Yeah,
might
your
think it's
own.
a crazy normal, like, you know, but it's who you are, and it's how you function, it's how God made you. And you might never know that person has something that you don't have, you know, like, hey, I can't want to be like her. As much as I think she's crazy sometimes in what she says, not that she's crazy in her mind, you know. You know, she's yeah, she's a case study, this one. You know, but I don't want to be like her, I myself. And when I'm getting to that serious mode, she's that balance and say, ah, let's laugh about it, you know, but you know, why are you stressed about this thing? And then after that talk, I can be like, actually, why am I stressed about this thing? This thing is nothing. We move on with life. We just, you know, life goes on. So it's important to know who you are before you want to be like, you can be best friends, it doesn't matter, but stay true to who you are and how God made you, and deal with whatever it is that you are dealing with the way that, you know, God will deal you. And medication is available if you are, you know, struggling in that sense. I think going back to Rhea's question, she said if she's in that depressive state and she's struggling to pray, then she does something else, like she sings and or listen to music, or she's saying she was studying Genesis and she's, you know, saying, hey, I don't understand this is exciting. She's keeping herself busy, she's finding other ways to connect with God. And she goes to church because that's where she finds that revival, that's where she finds that, you know, boost, and she can also fellowship with other people. So there's those channels. There's a comment here from Bitumelo Adhd. Thank you, Meme. I can relate. At least I'm able to identify the signs since I am also diagnosed with bipolar since 2010, and it's a struggle to live with this condition, I must say. So today we have helped somebody, you have shown them something maybe that they didn't know, or so thank you so much for your story. I don't know, is there any question for Meme whilst we still have her? Le Me Pulam Ring is still with us. So let's take a question if you do have a question. If there is a question, I mean. There's no hand up. There's no question in the chat. So I believe we are empowered today as we are here. Are we? Okay, they are saying yes. Online, your videos are off. I see Mepula is saying yes. Limeme, everybody else is off. So I believe we are empowered. I believe that we are going to be mindful of our mental state as well. Even if we are not diagnosed with depression, not everybody's diagnosed, guys. Because sometimes we want to find a medical condition for you not dealing with your emotions, you know. So even if we are going to be mindful, even when we are chasing our dreams, our visions and whatnot, we are going to be mindful of how we think, number one, and the emotions that we are embracing, and we make sure that we think positively. We challenge ourselves to think positive thoughts. We challenge ourselves that where we are struggling, we ask for help. Where we don't understand what's going on with our loved ones or with ourselves, we speak out. We look for enablers or helpers or the right support, or for medical treatment if needs be, because we go through a lot as people. And sometimes it helps to seek help, to find help, to be anchored spiritually so that we are well balanced. The Bible says, brethren, I pray that you may prosper as I close. Prosper in all things, not just in money, education, marriage. No, no, no. In all things. And as you prosper in your health and in your soul and your, including your mind. So it is the will of God that we prosper. Komatahan showed us that she can still prosper on a wheelchair. Meme, she's showing us that yes, she says it's a struggle, but she's 42 this year. She has not committed suicide. So we can still prosper even with the conditions that she has. If you don't have a condition, we are blessed. So there's no excuse. Let us prosper in all things. Tekwasa is very informative. Thank you for speaking. There's no questions. I'm going to close. Mama Moreng, thank you so much for availing yourself, for being with us, for educating us. We have really learned a lot. I believe this is not the last time we speak on this subject, and because it's a big subject, So thank you so much, Meme. Khomotahang, in her absence, she logged off. I thank you guys for really coming to teach us and for honoring the Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's break the stigma. People are not abnormal. Even if they say they are depressed, they are not abnormal. They are normal in a different way. Is that what you said? Yeah, it's they are normal.
We are our own normal.
We are
Yes,
our own.
we are normal.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so they
Thank you so much.
about
We really learned a lot.
they say, Wahlanya, she's crazy. No, she's not. If you go to a psychiatrist hospital, they book you in, you're not crazy. You are getting help so that you may prosper. So I'm going to close here and just thank God for his presence, for leading us, for everything that we have learned today. Can I close with a word of prayer before we log off? Father, we thank you for this day, for everything we have learned today. Your word says, my people perish for they lack knowledge. So today we have gained knowledge. So we will not perish anymore. We will live and we will not die. My God, I thank you that your word, you send it out to prosper wherever you send it, and it is prospering in our life. The spirit of suicide is being disarmed today through the knowledge that we have received. My God, I thank you for every speaker that spoke today. Bless them, my God, and their families. Bless them going in, bless them going out. Put a wall of fire around them, oh God. Continue to use them in other people's lives as they have blessed us today, oh God. Father, I thank you, oh God, that your word does not return to you void. So, oh God, it will not return to you void, it will do your work. It is prospering in our life. It has found fertile soil in our hearts, and we will harvest good. We will harvest, oh God, from this word. Our minds will be intact. We will prosper in our health, in our soul, and in everything that we do from this day forth, oh God. We are aware, oh God Almighty, of things that we did not know before, oh God, for you have revealed them according to your pleasures and purposes, oh God. We thank you and we bless your holy name. May you bless everyone who was represented in this place and meet them at the point of their needs. We worship you and we honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you, guys. We are going to log off. We did very well for time. Thank you very much to our speakers. You stuck to time. Tobe Kantai says, thank you so much. So
Thank
insightful.
you,
Thank
thank
you for your
you.
lives with us. Yay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm going to log off or end the meeting for all. I've recorded the session. I will share it with you, the link, if you want to go back to the session. Mama, thank you so much for being with us. I will make time to come to your house and meet you in person. Thank you. I really
Thank you. Thank you, me. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. We learned a lot.
Yeah, too much. A lot.
Bye.
Too much. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.